Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. This is going to be our last episode as the United States. Well, our last episode for this run. And we're just gonna chill for now. For now, we're gonna chill. Of course, Italy wants to steal a bunch of Shandong. On the other hand, what if we could take Italian Hebei? Unless they're going to take Italian Hebei. Where am I? We're here. Yeah. Oh no, just Italian Beijing. Huh, interesting. It's there, but they won't offer it. I mean, obviously, really. I think that makes complete sense. Alright, well, what kind of an army does Italy have? Italy has a substantial army, but not enormous. No one else seems likely to join in this thing. They are my rivals. Tell you what, we'll do it. Italy is fearful now. Mobilize the armies. And we've got, of course, a bunch of armies who are not remobilizable. I'm gonna try to put off... raising conscripts for as long as I can. So we're gonna grab the army of the... We're gonna grab the American Expeditionary Force. We're gonna put them in the area. We're gonna grab the army of the Midwest. Or the army of the Great Plains, rather. And we're gonna put them in the Dixie HQ. We're going to grab the army of Dixie, put them on the front. We're going to grab the army of California. We're going to put them on the front. We're going to grab the army of the Isthmus. And the army of the Andes. And I think that's probably going to be enough. And whatever else Italy chooses to do, that'll be on them. We'll take our Great Fleet and we'll just plop it right down in the Straits of Gibraltar so that they have a problem there. Gold getting depleted in California, you know we can't just let them leave. And you know that also means it's time to build some more gold mines. Only 2 more levels. Not my favorite thing, but it is what it is. Yeah, should be just fine. Where'd that go? I'm feeling like we're short on convoys a lot. Oh, never mind. Never mind. The convoy situation is just fine. I don't know who said we were short on convoys. They're stupid. Where's our other fleet? Let me see. Just send both of our fleets right there. Just make sure things stay good to go. And there's film. Beautiful. Just gonna grab our... Oh. Gotta reset production methods somewhere. Oh, I bet it's in, here. And... in these states. Oop. That's an event. 2 events. Anti-Italian Association demands action. The Anti-Italian Association has requested that we launch a diplomatic play against Italy. Successfully acting on the proposal will gain our government significant goodwill from the lobby. Oh, we're on the other side of well, let's read the description here. And to those who would refuse and prefer preserving the status quo, there was no hesitation. His response sounded well rehearsed because it was. He was a proactive man, one who spent hours pacing his chambers and anticipating attacks to come. My reply would be that we should never have allowed them to become so close to us in the first place. A friendship built upon deceit is nothing at all, and the goodwill gained from it, illusory. I'm going to say we'll look into this. We should have it fulfilled right away. All right, yeah. So we're gonna. So this will complete if we're either in a war with Italy or they back down, and we're already on track to be at war with them. So this should be just fine. That should make the Anti-Italian Association happier. Walls and wheat paste. Pearly Sedgwick has organized a nationwide postering campaign. A nationwide posturing campaign. Now get out there and make some meaningless claims. A nationwide postering campaign on behalf of the movement to enact graduated taxation. In some cities, there is scarcely a wall left unmarked by pro-graduated taxation displays. Sunday, gathering for graduated taxation. Meetings at all community houses, 7 to 8 p.m. Show your support for the just cause of graduated taxation. Refreshments available at 7:30 for all attendees. Subscribe to the local advocate for further information. They'll wash away in the rain, extra political support, or are these walls cleaned at once, reduced popularity? I'm going to say they'll wash away in the rain. Extra movement support's just fine with me. So Italy does have some troops coming, but we might be able to get there before they do. It seems like their army over here is absolutely pitiful. So if we can land our units before they get in, we'll be just fine. South Italian mass immigration. Dang. Amazing. Good job, Italy. I'm just going to raise the conscripts of the Coastal Defense Division, same as I always do. Finances are actually looking rock solid. Investment pool is still going way up. I should increase the size of the construction sector. Ooh, Shibe and Shanxi are fighting. 2 arms. Alright, so this front should close out really fast. And that's a lobby demand completed. They went up by 3. Their appeasement increased by 3. Wonderful. And there's the front. And all my units have handled themselves back to America. So we're going to take the American Expeditionary Force. We're going to station them in North China. And we're going to take the Army of Dixie and the Army of California, and we'll station them in South China. And hopefully that should let us lock things down. So Italy now no longer has war support protection, and the Shandong clique does. So hopefully they should not be under threat of invasion. Naval invasion in DC, that's just fine. We've got the Army of the Great Plains there protecting the situation. And we can move the Army of the Americas in. I'm actually going to do that. And we'll put the Army of the Isthmus and the Army of the Andes in Yankeedom to make sure that that area is protected. We'll also take the 2nd Coastal Defense Force and move them to the New England HQ. And that'll be just fine. So hopefully this will deal some damage to... This will cause some losses for Italy, and that'll help the overall situation. We're doing a lot of convoy raiding here, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. We're sinking a lot of Italian convoys. Oh, Silas Wilkinson passed. That's very sad. Does that goof up any of our armies? Looks like not really. Karelian mass migration, very cool. We do have an Italian army on the way here. And we are losing convoys, but where? The Atlantic seaboard. Oh, right, because our fleets aren't there. Well, we've got troops stationed in the area, so let's bring our fleets back to defend our shores. I've grabbed the wrong one. They're bringing 42 battalions. I don't think they're going to have a prayer of defeating the armies of the Great Plains and the army of the Great Plains and the army of the Americas, especially given that our military technology is way superior to theirs. They're using trench infantry and shrapnel artillery, and that's just silly. Stefan von Dietrich was exiled. He seems like a guy. How could this happen? The president must always have a reaction to the news. No one can defeat Robert Wigglesworth on the battlefield. Oh, what a great name for a general. What a huge hero. Britain's intervening in Carta. I can't be bothered to deal with that. That's not my business. Greek mass immigration. Oh yeah, and here are the oil rigs that we queued up last episode. Wow, we sure did queue up a lot of oil rigs. IT, are you sure neither of you wants to be a puppet state of mine? Not even a little? Please? Sad. Truly sad. Why is Org so low for the Expeditionary Force? Alright, there is a battle happening here. So, this is us, and we are winning. So we have successfully stationed units in these areas and are successfully protecting them. That's good. Because there's definitely been moments where I've been like, are we? Are we, though? Revolution Indonesia. But where? Aceh. Can't. I'm not. That ain't me. Oh my goodness, we got so many diplomatic plays over here. Communist Philippines. Sounds like I need to not care. Communist Aceh. Oh no, this is a secession pact. Yeah, I'm still gonna not care. Situation in IT popping off. Situation in Karta popping off. Situation in Katheri popping off. Can't be bothered. Not my problem. Still in the got a red cash money line over here, which is a little bit sad. But I'm building up oil reserves. I'm gonna scrap these incoming silk trade routes now that I've got my own silk sources within the customs union. I think that's just the sensible play. I have to have totally strangled the Italian economy at this point. Just with convoy raiding, with the amount of convoy raiding that I'm doing. They're still trying to invade in here. My goodness, the Army of California has grown stunkin' thick. Tell you what, we're going to put them in the northern China zone. Actually... we're going to send them to Africa, but actually we're sending them to invade Italy. Eventually. Shandong Click is in default. Well, that's a shame. I'm going to put the Army of Dixie here. I think this is the South China HQ. I think as long as they're in the right HQ, it shouldn't be a problem, but I just want to make sure nothing gets stupid over there. And this is... situation in Perak. Not gonna be concerning myself with that. I think they've realized what I'm planning. Shame, really. But I think I can handle it, even if they know it's coming. U.S. doctrine says you can't win a naval invasion without surprise, and I think that's nonsense. I can win a naval invasion without surprise. I'll do it. Gosh, that sure is a lot of oil. All right, so as we're building up our oil supplies, we're in a good spot. We're closing in on getting to the balance point, and at that point, I'll start upgrading our mines with the superior production method. And here come the troops. So let's see if we can land. See if we can land and get ourselves a tasty, tasty invasion point. We cannot. Oh, we might. Our offense is very good compared to their defense. Oh my goodness, look at all these events. Do a promotion. The armed forces demand the promotion of Major General Jonathan Palmer, touting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Jacob's face when the general learned of his imminent ascension. The rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. He's earned it. Shabamzo. The man in the street. Disagreements between the petite bourgeoisie and the intelligentsia are causing conflicts in the government. It might seem radical to you, but if you read the theory, I'd be surprised if you can find a single flaw. One thing I've learned from running a business, sir, is that experience beats even a flawless theory when you try to put it into practice. I think I'm going to do, as is my custom, and piss off the intelligentsia here, because I need the petite bourgeoisie's support. So, yeah, so-called intellectuals should keep their feet on the ground. Bonk. Cause without a rebel. Although Edwin Jewell is still fighting for his cause, no one is following him anymore. Despondent, Jewell has started publicly remarking that he may even give up on his activism altogether. What's the point? Speakers, when we have any, speak to empty halls and in empty chairs. There's no crowds, no banners. If anyone pays attention at all, they never understand anything we're preaching. What reason is there to stay here? We're all just stuck doing nothing. I can try to goof up the movement a little bit for regulatory bodies, but again, I don't want regulatory bodies. I've already got a better thing than regulatory bodies, so he can find greener pastures elsewhere. Buy or else. A group representing those within the industrialists with an interest in the clothes trade has begun lobbying the government for action against Italy, citing its hostile trade practices. They'd been in and out of the foreign minister's office all morning, men of wealth and status, all known to the ministry, all reciting the same complaints: the Italian trade war, impediment of the free movement of goods, and seizure of unrealized gains. Just as he stood to flick the lock closed for the day, another knock rang out. The energy flowed out of him all at once, nearly driving him to fall into the carpet. With a grimace, he forced himself to take another step forward and fling open the door. "Yes, sir, if you would have a seat, please." It is only understandable. Industrialists join the Anti-Italian Association, or we will not shift our stance on command weaker industrialists. How do the industrialists feel about the government right now? They're pretty pleased with it. It's understandable. We're antagonizing Italy right now. So they join the anti-Italian lobby, and that should be good for the country. Gosh, this battle is a real heavy one. I'm really hoping they're losing men faster than I am here. So eventually I should have peace treaty. Never mind, eventually I'll have peace. And then everything will be... Oh, because they didn't take Hebei. They just took Beijing. Oh, that's very funny. You get him, Shandong. Italy have begun embargoing us. Well, you can get embargoed too if I wasn't I was already embargoing you. Let that be a warning. Oh my goodness. Senegalese aristocratic revolts. Aristocracy would make it communist. Oh no, they've just got a flag. They've just got a flag that looks like they're doing communism, but they're not actually doing communism. Neutrality. Beating the secession. Where is that? Inner Mauritania. Well, sorry to hear that. Nothing to be done about it. It is what it is. It is what it is what it is. We're about halfway away from our gold reserve. Ooh, Estonian mass immigration. Excellent. From our gold reserve limit, so that's just going to be how we're going to handle things. I don't have that much infamy left. So I could get up to some international aggression. What if I did some international aggression against Brazil? Do you have a truce or something? You do not. What if I said, give me some states, Brazil? What if I asked for some states? What if I asked for some states from Ecuador? I gotta return CBN Pastaza. What about Ecuador? I could, 20.6 infamy. That's a lot. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. We're striking massive oil over here. Secessionist Manifesto. A manifesto laying out the arguments for Beaten independence has started to spread in the United States of America. Should this sort of thing be illegal? It's not arguing for an armed revolution. Beaten independence could be an entirely peaceful process. However, I will say this. If such a revolution comes, then this is what they'll be shouting from the barricades. Start a propaganda campaign to counter the arguments. Minus 10% authority, 5% of beaten pops become more loyalist. Ban the manifesto. Smaller penalty to authority, more loyalists. Or pay it no mind. I'll ban the manifesto. 5% authority is basically nothing to me at this stage. How's the market doing? Tea is gradually... I built up a ton of tea plantations, didn't I? No, they're still all mostly coming from trade routes. Hold on. Am I bringing in any of this myself? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'll raise my own tea. What if I made a bunch of tea plantations in Fujian? I'm sure there's... Yeah. Let's get some tea. Let's get this tea. 50. And how much infrastructure we have? We have plenty of infrastructure. Beautiful. And I'm just going to throw these at the bottom of the current round of items so that they all get built within a reasonable time frame. Because I like tea, and tea is very expensive in my customs union. And otherwise, we're just kind of chilling. Oh, communist revolt in Uluru. You know I will support you, Uluru, always. My tiny guy. My bestest friend. Send the Pacific Fleet. Okay. Just making sure all my companies have the necessary prosperity. They are calling us in, and I will, of course, accept. Because how could I but stand with Uluru? I will never not stand with Uluru. Send the troops. Let's also mobilize the Army of West Africa. What's the Army of California doing in Africa? Come back to California. What are you doing over there? We'll mobilize the Army of Central Africa. Again, I assume that this situation is going to kick off in Inner Mauritania relatively soon, and I don't know, it's going down. Is it? Is it going down, or is it just me? Excess minus 6%. No, it's going up. It's going up. That's happening. Oh my goodness. Italian Civil War. Inefficient agriculture. The industrialists have started complaining about the existence of subsistence farms in Katanga, stating that their undeniable inefficiency should be immediately addressed. The fertile soil of our people suffers, relegated to tired and calloused hands, too exhausted from manual labor to perform at a decent level, too poor to be able to use more advanced tools that would make them more profitable. This industry is just a useless investment. We should follow their advice. So what manner of uprising is this? This is a capitalist revolt against Italy, and this is happening because you are... What could the capitalists possibly want out of this state? Let's find out. Presidential Republic, landed voting. That's it. It's Presidential Republic and landed voting. Oh, and no Social Security. That's what it is. It's wage subsidies. They're mad about the wage subsidies. Well, I mean, as long as we're antagonizing Italy. So who does Italy likely to have on their side on this thing? They're likely to get Belgium and Chile. And then the revolt is likely to get Russian help. They might get help from Siam, but that doesn't seem like it'll impact things. Oh, I have a truce with them. I have a truce. I can't get involved either way. Well, Russia, it's all you. This one's you, Russia. Don't disappoint me. Intervene in Italy, Russia. Do it. Do it. Everyone liked that. All right. Is this Beaten secession going to actually happen? Or is it going to be Jover before it begins? I'm sorry. That was really dumb. Sometimes you have a really dumb day. Sometimes you have a day where you're really dumb. My investment pool is growing massively, but I don't know. Game's almost over. I don't think it's going to actually impact anything if I continue to build it out. Maybe I'll play through a little bit longer after the game ends, but I don't think so. That hasn't tended to be super productive. So there's flash freezing. That's nice. Let's get our mines over to diesel pump engines. Obviously, this will cause a huge rise in the price of oil. It actually didn't do that much, which is shocking. We are still building up our oil supplies, but that's pretty impressive. Come on, break out. Two arms. That's Uluru, not this, though. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. There we go. And do we have 3 fronts. I thought we were going to only have 2. That's okay, we can send a tiny army. We got the 1st Coastal Defense Division ready to go. And a Kalimantan capitalist revolt, which could not involve me. No way, no how. I'll never be involved. Uluru is in default. How could this happen? Excellent. I'm gonna bankroll them. Wow, they really have an extremely small economy. Cute little economy. Uluru is my tiny guy. I will never not support Uluru in all things, as you know. You know this is my way. Alright, let's grab the Army of the Andes and naval invade the other side of things. You need to figure out how to bridge this gap in the middle of Australia. Maybe a road. Sorry. That was an extremely dumb joke. All my jokes are extremely dumb, but that one specifically. Man, we're providing heckin' employment in Fujian, I gotta say. How's the situation doing? Wow, still 1.25 million unemployed people. Golly. Legal migration to a bunch of different areas. But the tea. But the tea. Serbian mass immigration, excellent. And there's the end of the war in Uluru. And once we finish this, everything should be good to go. Let's see if there's Russian troops in Italy. Did they end up doing it? Well, actually, the smarter way to do this is to look at the war situation. Yeah, Russia's in there. They're deep in there, boyo. Excellent. I hope they overthrow the Italian government. Not because this new Italian government will be any more friendly to me, just because I was angry at the old guys. You know the way of things. I guess I would lose my truce, which would be nice. So we're getting on towards the end of the run. In fact, we are nearly there. Ooh, there's mass propaganda. Excellent. And that gives us exactly the amount of authority that we need to do one more consumption tax. So let's throw that on coffee. So yeah, we achieved it. And that is the end of that. So we achieved it. We achieved 100 states. Korean obligation expiring. Well, absolutely. I will use this to improve relations with Korea. Absolutely. Now things are friendly. Maybe they won't want to stop being a protectorate. We're getting there. We're still getting there. It's even with this this huge line item for infamy, we're getting there. Yeah, we established a United States of Africa and America. We cored a ton of states in Africa and in South America. We didn't achieve full hegemony over the entirety of the Western Hemisphere, which is sort of, I gather, the primary path to doing that most players take when they're going for the Star Swarm banner. But we did it our own way, and I happen to like the way we did it. We made a bunch of these territories in Africa self-determining parts of the United States, and I think that's rad. We probably relied on British help for too long. I think there's one thing I would want to have done differently in this campaign. It would have been to not rely so heavily on to break our alliance with Great Britain sooner, and then maybe form an ideological union. Another interesting option might be to, as the United States of America, to try to form a hegemony over an ideological union that comprises the entirety of the Americas. That would be an interesting run to try to do. Raising concerns event. Petit bourgeois over the industrialists. I'm going to weaken the petit bourgeois. Get out of here, the petit bourgeois. So, we didn't end up with a ton of countries in our customs union. In fact, only a precious few. Only Korea and the Indian Territory at this point. Partially because we annexed all of these other countries around here. Wow, it turns out a bunch of them made it into the British market. That's shocking. Shocking, but it is what it is. We maintained an Indian Territory, and the Indian Territory is doing great. Their standard of living is actually higher than America's. Which I think is rad. I think it's rad that we can have an Indian Territory where things are actually going well, and that's not just sort of a fail state created by us to get rid of Native Americans. I think it's really cool that we got to have that. Looking back, given that a lot of these territories have these huge Quechua populations, I think if I were going to do it again, I would probably create another indigenous American state in South America for those folks to live at. Maybe do things a little differently down here, because I think Peru Bolivia accepts those pops. I think they're discriminated in Peru Bolivia as well. But yeah, we created an absolutely massive economy. We're hurtling towards $1 billion. We're not going to make it to $1 billion, but we're almost double our nearest competitor, the British Republic. Literacy is absolutely bonkers. Standard of living is great. We're number 6 in the world, and all the others, well, British Republic and French Republic are both above us, but only by a little bit. I don't know how Britain managed that, but it is what it is. We have a massive population, number 2 in the world, other than Russia, I have to assume. The British Raj. And we're coming up on the British Raj. Probably the second biggest customs union in terms of population, because, of course, the British Raj is part of the British market. British Raj is a council republic. What is happening? Oh man, things are getting weird over there, I tell you what. If I'd had more time, I would love to have pulled Japan into the customs union, into my empire, and to start establishing protectorates in China. I think if I had successfully done that, if the Qing explosion had been earlier, I would have gotten up to more with that. I think I also, I'm trying to figure out how to think about this. I think there's definitely a way of doing this where you don't become an international pariah, where you sort of let all your infamy happen and then you sit back and let it decay for a bit. I didn't choose to go that route, and I stand by that. I think that was the right call, but it still would have been interesting to do a run where I was kind of more diplomatic. At this point, I've basically figured out that the world conquest run is a run in which you become an international pariah, basically, necessarily. There is no way to do it otherwise. So I think during my next run, I'm definitely going to pursue a power block. Um, well, we'll see. We'll see what we can accomplish. Uh, the poll has already happened at this point in the community tab, and it's going to be Portugal. Y'all decided on Portugal. Between Portugal and the Netherlands, some folks brought up doing Belgium, which would be an interesting run. It sounds like Belgium has a really fantastic technological starting point, which I am curious about trying out. But that is what it is. Oop. No. Stop asking for more autonomy. And there's our Victorian century. Let's take a look at the situation. So we remained a democratic republic basically the whole game through. Let's look at some of these pie charts. Political strength, most of it was in the hands of engineers and capitalists, which is interesting. Even with universal suffrage and women's suffrage, a lot of the political power wound up in the hands of the technocratic class. Bureaucrats and clerks are smaller than I would have assumed. Machinists, shopkeepers, and farmers. Obviously, a huge amount of the population was still laborers. That's not shocking. But machinists were a huge block, and peasants as well, it turns out. Although I think this is partially... I don't know if this includes unincorporated territories, because obviously the population of Fujian alone is enormous. Not obviously 25 million. But it might have been though. I'm not sure. I don't think that many, but it's getting there. So I think that's part of it. Interestingly, Yanks still become the predominant population. I guess Yanks outnumber Afro-Americans to a pretty significant extent. With that having been said, we wind up with a lovely rainbow here of many different peoples in our federation. Yanks and Afro-Americans obviously share a lot of the political power, Dixielanders as well. Basically, the country remains more or less completely in the hands of Protestants, which is not shocking. I'm surprised that so much of the political strength is taken up by animist pops. Although I guess that's not that shocking because because we do have separation of church and state, and I think animist is the classification that a lot of Africa falls into in the Vicky 3 era. I know in I want to say in Europa Universalis 4, there's a bunch of others. There's a different word they use, but I'm not sure. I'm not very knowledgeable about Europa Universalis 4. Yeah, and of course we hit our max up point for prestige. We became the number one nation for prestige in the world, which I am super duper pleased about. All right, it's been a great run. I've had a ton of fun with it. I've had a great time playing as the USA. If you had a good time as well, drop a like, drop a subscription. I appreciate that, and I'll see you on the other side.